9 out of 10 Mazda owners believe at least one of these myths, and it is costing them money, engine life, and peace of mind. That forum post you bookmarked 3 years ago? Total nonsense. That tip you got from a random guy at a car wash? Do not even get us started. Mazda builds some of the most reliable, well-engineered cars on the road, but bad advice and stubborn myths are quietly sabotaging your ownership experience. From oil changes to Skyactiv engines to rotary ghosts, 21 myths are about to get destroyed. Myth 21 will save your wallet. Myth 1 could save your engine entirely. Let us get into it. Number 21. Mazda engines need premium fuel to perform. Walk up to any Mazda forum and you will find someone swearing their CX-5 runs better on premium. They have convinced themselves that spending an extra 30 cents a gallon is giving them extra performance, better mileage, cleaner injectors. Here's the truth. Mazda's Skyactiv G engines are specifically engineered to run on regular 87 octane fuel. That is not a compromise. That is the design. Mazda's engineers spent years optimizing combustion to extract maximum efficiency from regular unleaded. Pouring premium into a car built for regular does not make it faster. It does not clean anything extra. It does not extend the engine's life. It empties your wallet by roughly $200 to $300 a year for zero return. The only Mazda models that call for premium are specific turbocharged variants like the Mazda 3 Turbo and CX-30 Turbo. For those, yes, follow the manual. But if you are driving a standard Skyactiv engine and buying premium, you have been paying a myth tax for years. Check your owner's manual right now. Fuel grade is listed clearly. Follow the manual, not the forums. But wasting money on fuel is small change compared to the next myth, because this one makes Mazda owners skip a maintenance step that quietly destroys their engine from the inside. Number 20. You can skip the break-in period on a new Mazda. A new Mazda arrives. It smells incredible. You want to push it, and someone tells you, modern engines do not need break-in periods anymore. Just drive it normally from day one. Wrong. Mazda's owner. Manuals recommend a break-in period for the first 600 miles. Avoid hard acceleration, avoid sustained high RPMs, and vary your speed. Engine components, pistons, rings, and bearings need time to seat properly against each other. Microscopic high points where smooth. Clearances settle. Skip this and those components seat unevenly. Uneven seating means higher oil consumption and reduced compression. You will not notice it immediately. You will notice it at 80,000 miles when your engine is burning oil and your friend's identical Mazda is not. 600 miles of patience is a smart trade. Speaking of protecting your engine, the next myth is one of the most stubborn lies in the entire automotive world, and Mazda owners fall for it constantly. Number 19. You must change your oil every 3,000 miles. This is the myth that refuses to die. Oil change shops love it. Your neighbor repeats it. Someone spray painted it on the inside of your brain in 1987. It is outdated. Modern Mazda vehicles with Skyactiv engines running full synthetic oil have recommended intervals of 7,500 miles under normal conditions. In some cases, up to 10,000 miles. Mazda built an oil life monitoring system specifically to tell you when oil actually needs changing. The 3,000-mile rule came from an era of older engines using conventional oil. It does not apply to your Skyactiv Mazda. Changing oil at 3,000 miles is just wasteful. Follow your monitoring system. Your Mazda does not need a change until it tells you it does. But here is where myths get expensive. The next one has convinced thousands of Mazda owners to spend money on something their car genuinely does not need. Prepare to feel robbed. Number 18. Mazdas need fuel injector. Cleaner at every fill-up walk down the automotive aisle and you will see bottles of fuel. Injector cleaner promising miracles. Mazda owners have been convinced these are essential every single time they fill up. They are not. Modern fuel already contains detergent additives that keep injectors clean under normal use. Adding more cleaner is redundant. Where fuel system cleaners have genuine value, high mileage vehicles showing symptoms of injector buildup, or as an occasional treatment every 30,000 miles or so, not every fill-up. If you have been adding a bottle every time you gas up, you have spent potentially hundreds of dollars solving a problem that did not exist. What is next might shock you, because it involves a Mazda technology that is genuinely revolutionary, and most owners have been told it is a liability when it is actually an asset. If these mythbusters are already saving you money, hit that subscribe button now, because we are just getting warmed up and the next myths get even wilder. Number 17. Skyactiv technology is just a marketing gimmick. This one makes engineers cry. Skyactiv is Mazda's suite of technologies covering engines, transmissions, chassis, and body design. The Skyactiv G engine achieved a compression ratio of 14:1, the highest of any mass-production naturally aspirated gasoline engine when it launched. Most engines run at 10:1 or 11:1. Higher compression means more energy extracted from every drop of fuel. That translates to better fuel economy and better performance simultaneously, without a turbocharger or hybrid system. The engineering challenge to make a high-compression engine work without knocking on regular fuel was enormous. Mazda solved it through innovations in combustion chamber geometry, multi-hole injectors, and exhaust gas recirculation. These are measurable, documented engineering achievements. Dismissing Skyactiv as marketing means dismissing real engineering that genuinely makes your car better. But there is a myth about Skyactiv specifically that is scaring owners away from a perfectly normal engine behavior. And if you have panicked over this, you are not alone, but you have been wrong. Number 16, Skyactiv engines are fragile and prone to catastrophic failure. Because Skyactiv runs at that high compression ratio, a rumor spread, these engines are on a knife's edge. One bad tank of gas, one slightly wrong oil, 1 degree off timing, and the whole thing grenades. This is not supported by data. Consumer Reports, JD Power, and long-term owner data consistently place Mazda near the top of reliability rankings. Skyactiv G engines powering millions of Mazda 3s, CX-5s, and Mazda 6s have accumulated enormous real-world mileage with reliability rates that rival Toyota. The high compression is not a fragility. These engines are not running at the limit of their design. They are the design. Mazda owners reporting catastrophic failures are almost always reporting failures caused by deferred maintenance. Change your oil, keep your cooling system healthy, and these engines routinely exceed 200,000 miles. Next up, a myth that makes Mazda owners do something at every single service visit that the car does not actually need. Your wallet has been paying for this one for years. Number 15. Mazda's transmission. Fluid never needs changing. Lifetime fluid. 2 words that have caused enormous transmission damage in the automotive world. Some manufacturers label transmission fluid as lifetime fill. What this means in practice, it lasts until the transmission fails. Mazda's own service recommendations suggest fluid changes at specific intervals. For automatic transmissions under severe driving conditions, towing, stop-and-go traffic, and extreme temperatures, fluid should be inspected around 30,000 to 45,000 miles. Transmission fluid degrades. Metal particles accumulate. Degraded fluid means harder shifts and accelerated wear. A transmission rebuild costs $2,000 to $4,000. A fluid change costs $100 to $150. This is not a difficult calculation. Here's where it gets interesting. The next myth involves a Mazda feature that owners routinely disable, thinking they are making the car better when they're actually doing something the engineers specifically designed against. Number 14. Turning off. iStop saves your engine. Mazda's iStop system automatically shuts off the engine when you stop at a light and restarts it when you release the brake. And Mazda owners hate it. They reach for that iStop button at the start of every drive to disable it. Their reasoning: all those micro starts are killing the starter motor and wearing the engine. Here is what they do not know. Mazda's iStop does not use the starter motor to restart the engine. It uses direct fuel injection into the combustion chamber while the piston is at the perfect position, and the engine fires itself back to life without the starter. This is fundamentally different from a conventional start. Mazda specifically engineered the iStop system to handle far more cycles than a conventional starter. What owners are actually doing when they disable it? Burning fuel they did not need to burn, and ignoring engineering specifically designed for their benefit. But wait, there is a myth about Mazda's interior materials that is making owners damage their cars while trying to protect them. This one is both common and painful. Number 13. You need to apply silicone dressings to Mazda's interior plastics. Mazda's interior quality has improved dramatically, especially in the Mazda 3, CX-5, and CX-9. The plastics and soft-touch materials are specifically designed and finished at the factory, and then owners spray silicone-based dressings on everything and wonder why their interior looks greasy, faded, and discolored after 2 years. Traditional silicone dressings were designed for older matte rubber components. On modern Mazda interior plastics, they create a greasy film that attracts dust, degrades certain materials over time, and actually accelerates the UV breakdown they are meant to prevent. Use a mild interior cleaner and a microfiber cloth. You spent good money on that interior. Do not ruin it trying to protect it. The next myth crosses into engine territory, and it has caused real damage to real Mazdas. Not theoretical damage, actual broken parts. If we have already busted a myth you believed, smash that like button and drop a comment with which myth caught you off guard. We read every single one. Number 12. Revving a cold Mazda engine warms it up faster. It is cold outside. You start your Mazda, and you blip the throttle, rev it to 3000 RPM, hold it there. You think you are getting the engine up to temperature faster so you can drive sooner. You are doing damage. Cold oil is thick. It is not fully circulated through all the passages, galleries, and clearances that need lubrication. Bearing surfaces, valve train components, and cylinder walls are all running on a thin film that has not yet been fully replenished. The correct approach? Start the engine, give it 30 seconds at idle for oil to circulate, then drive gently. Driving gently but actively warms the engine faster than sitting still revving. Until that coolant temperature needle moves toward normal, keep RPMs modest. Coming up next, a myth that has Mazda owners fighting about tires on the internet every single day, and both sides are half wrong. Number 11. All season. Tires are fine for winter. Driving in a Mazda AWD, Mazda's iActiv AWD reads road conditions 27 times per second and distributes torque proactively before slip even occurs. It is genuinely excellent technology, and all-season tires still make it significantly less effective in real winter conditions. Here's the science. All-season tires use a rubber compound that hardens below 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Hard rubber skates over cold pavement and snow. Winter tires stay pliable in the cold and feature tread patterns designed to bite through slush. AWD helps you accelerate. It does not help you turn. It does not help you stop. Dedicated winter tires will do more for your safety than any electronic system. The next myth involves a famous Mazda engine that still haunts the brand's reputation, even though most people spreading this myth have never owned one. Number 10. The rotary engine ruined. Mazda's reputation. The RX-7 and RX-8 both used Mazda's rotary Wankel engine. Both developed reputations for high oil consumption, flooding issues, and apex seal failures. And now a generation of internet users repeats, Mazda makes unreliable engines because of the rotary. This conflates two completely separate engineering programs. Mazda's conventional piston engines, the ones in every current Mazda you can buy, have no rotary components whatsoever. The reliability issues specific to the rotary do not transfer to Skyactiv. They are not related. The rotary's reputation is also partly unfair. Owners who properly maintained their cars with regular oil top-ups and correct warm-up procedures frequently ran for high mileages. Many failures came from applying conventional engine expectations to an unconventional power plant. The rotary is a chapter in Mazda's history, not a stain on their current lineup. Here's one that sounds completely reasonable right up until you look at the data, and then it falls apart entirely. Number 9. Mazda cars depreciate faster than Toyota or Honda. This myth costs people money when they're buying and when they are selling. Independent depreciation data from multiple automotive research firms consistently shows Mazda vehicles holding value at rates comparable to Toyota and Honda. The Mazda CX-5 in particular has been repeatedly ranked as one of the best value retention SUVs in its class, often outperforming the CR-V and RAV4 in specific model years and configurations. The myth persists because Mazda has a smaller market presence, which creates a perception of less desirability, but lower volume means fewer used examples flooding the market, which supports residual values. If you passed on a Mazda over depreciation fears, you may have made a worse financial decision than you realized. The next myth is about a specific Mazda driving experience that owners have been complaining about for years when they should have been celebrating it. Number 8. Mazda's steering is too heavy and unresponsive. New Mazda owners, especially those coming from Toyota Corollas or Honda Civics, sometimes complain that the steering feels heavier and more effort-heavy at low speeds. That is not a defect. That is a deliberate philosophy. Mazda's engineering approach, centered on their Jinba Etai philosophy, meaning horse and rider as one, deliberately tuned steering to be weightier and more communicative than the industry norm. The ultralight numb electric steering found in many competitors feels easier, but gives you less information about what your tires are actually doing. In an emergency, that feedback matters. After a week in a Mazda, most drivers stop noticing the weight and never want to go back. The Mazda steering is not a problem to tolerate, it is a feature to appreciate. Number 7 might be the most expensive myth on this list because it has convinced people to buy products that do absolutely nothing for their Mazda. Number 7, you need dealer brand oil and filters or you void your warranty service. Writers have been deploying this line for decades and it still works. Use our Mazda branded oil and filter or you risk voiding your warranty. In the United States, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act makes this illegal. A manufacturer cannot void your warranty simply because you used a non-dealer product, as long as that product meets the specifications outlined in your owner's manual. Your Mazda requires oil that meets a specific viscosity and specification, typically 0W20 for most Skyactiv engines. Any oil from any brand that meets that specification is appropriate. Any quality filter that meets the specifications works. Do not let anyone tell you that third-party oil and filters will void your warranty. That is a sales tactic, not a legal or technical reality. Getting into the top 6 now, and the next myth involves a Mazda technology that most owners have never explored, even though it is in every current model, and it changes everything about how the car feels. Number 6. Mazda's drive. Mode selector is just a gimmick. Many Mazdas come with a drive mode selector, sport, normal, and sometimes additional variants. Plenty of owners press Sport once, feel roughly the same, shrug, and never touch it again. They have not explored what it actually changes. In Sport mode on most Skyactiv-equipped Mazdas, throttle response mapping changes significantly. The pedal becomes more sensitive and responsive to small inputs. Transmission shift points rise to keep the engine in the upper power band longer. Steering weight increases on models with electric power steering adjustment. On turbocharged variants, boost comes on harder. These are not marginal changes. On a canyon road in Sport mode, a Mazda 3 or CX-5 genuinely transforms its character. The car that felt composed and smooth in normal mode becomes noticeably more alive. The gimmick reputation comes from people who tested Sport mode in a parking lot, felt nothing dramatic, and concluded it was marketing. Take it on a real road at real speeds and form that opinion again. 5 remaining, and number 5 involves a safety myth that has Mazda owners actively making their cars more dangerous. Read this one carefully. Subscribe right now and hit the bell, because we cover Mazda-specific tips, myths, and owner secrets that dealers will never tell you. Do not miss the next one. Number 5. Lowering your Mazda improves. Handling JDM culture is real. Lowered Mazdas look aggressive, and the logic seems sound. Lower center of gravity, better cornering. Not necessarily, and sometimes the opposite. Mazda's suspension geometry is designed around a defined ride height. The angles of control arms, motion ratios of springs and dampers, and camber curves through suspension travel are all engineered as a system for that height. Lowering the car with springs that were not engineered for your model disrupts those relationships. Camber goes negative aggressively. Bump steer increases. The tires wear unevenly. Professional suspension tuning with quality coilovers can genuinely improve handling, but better tires will outperform a budget-lowering job almost every time, at a fraction of the cost. 4 left, and number 4 is a myth about Mazda's long-term reliability that has stopped people from buying a car they would have absolutely loved. Number 4. Mazda parts are expensive and hard to find. The myth: Mazda is some exotic niche brand where parts are imported from a secret Japanese warehouse and cost 3 times what a Toyota part costs. The reality: Mazda is one of the largest automakers in the world. They move millions of vehicles annually. Parts availability is excellent through OEM channels, dealer networks, and aftermarket suppliers who produce components at competitive prices. Common wear items, brake pads, rotors, filters, belts, and timing components are widely available and similarly priced to equivalent Honda or Toyota parts. Independent mechanics are universally comfortable working on Mazdas. A well-maintained Mazda is no more expensive to own than a comparable Honda or Toyota. Multiple independent cost of ownership analyses confirm this. 3 myths left, and number 3 is the one that makes experienced Mazda owners angry every time they hear it, because this myth is actively hurting Mazda's reputation based on a problem that is completely preventable. Number 3. Mazda's rust. Problems are unavoidable. This one has roots in reality, which makes it more dangerous as a myth. Mazda did have documented rust issues on certain model years from the mid-2000s to early 2010s in high-salt environments. Mazda acknowledged it and warranty extensions were issued. But those were specific model years. Current generation Mazdas use improved coatings and rust protection. Rust on any vehicle is dramatically reducible with proactive care. Annual underbody washing in winter and prompt repair of paint chips prevent most rust issues on any brand. The context matters. Judge current Mazdas on current data. 2 myths remain. Number 2 is the one that even experienced Mazda owners argue about constantly online, and it has a definitive data-backed answer. And then number 1 is the myth that could cost you your engine if you believe it. Number 2. The Mazda CX-5 is too small to be a real family SUV. Shopping for a family SUV, someone inevitably says, the CX-5 is nice, but it is too small. You need something bigger. By the numbers, this does not hold up. The Mazda CX-5 offers just under 31 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats and nearly 60 cubic feet with seats folded. The Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V offer more. Yes, the CX-5 is measurably smaller. For 2 adults and up to 3 children, it is genuinely adequate for road trips, grocery runs, school pickups, and weekend activities. The question is not whether it is the biggest, the question is whether it is big enough. What the CX-5 offers in exchange for that volume difference: a significantly more premium interior quality, better driving dynamics, a quieter cabin at highway speeds, and in most configurations, comparable or better fuel economy. For families who do not regularly haul large furniture or need to seat 6 people, dismissing the CX-5 as too small means potentially buying more car than they need while giving up an objectively better driving experience. And now, the biggest myth of all. Number 1. The myth that Mazda owners whisper to each other in parking lots and Facebook groups. The one that is actively destroying engines right now, today, in Mazdas, parked in driveways across the country. Number 1. High mileage means a Mazda is worn out. This is it. The myth that costs people the most money, built entirely on assumption, not engineering. A Mazda with 120,000 miles appears on a used car listing. Someone says, high mileage, probably needs an engine soon, not worth it. They pass. They buy a lower mileage competitor. They tell themselves they made the smart decision. They did not. A properly maintained Mazda with a Skyactiv G engine has no defined failure point at 120,000, 150,000, or even 200,000 miles. The engine's design life exceeds these numbers substantially when maintenance is followed. The variable that determines whether a high-mileage Mazda is a ticking time bomb or a reliable workhorse is not mileage. It is maintenance history. An 80,000-mile Mazda that never had its oil changed is in far worse shape than a 160,000-mile Mazda with full service records. What you should ask when evaluating any used Mazda: does it have oil change records? Is the timing chain in good condition? Has the coolant been flushed? A Mazda with complete service documentation at 150,000 miles is a better buy than an undocumented one at 60,000. The number on the odometer is not the story. The service history is the story. Maintain your Mazda. Follow the service intervals, use the right fluids, and drive it confidently past 200,000 miles, because the myth said it would break down, and you will prove the myth wrong. 21 myths, 21 lies that have been costing Mazda owners money, peace of mind, and in some cases their engines. From premium fuel myths to high mileage fear, you now know the truth. Your Mazda is better than the myths say it is. Treat it right, and it will prove every single one of them wrong. Hey, thanks for watching. If you found these car hacks helpful, let us know in the comments. Want to see more Mazda videos? Click on the left. And if you don't want to miss more tips and secrets, hit that subscribe button.